Okay, very good morning. My name is Dr. Parames. I'm teaching in Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Tanjung Lupo, Kuantan, Pahang. I've been a teacher for more than 36 years, and at present I'm teaching English for the Form 5 students. And one of the components of the English paper is literature, that is the novel. The novel is Captain Nobody by Dean Pitchford. And I wanted to do this research because I found a problem with my students understanding the text of the novel. The basic problem was it was American culture, more focused on American values and lessons, which the students could not comprehend. So in my pre-test, the methodology that I used was reading the novel with them and discussing the novel, and trying to make them understand the literature aspect of it. But when I did my pre-test, the results were not very good. They were scoring 3 or 4 marks out of 10, and also found a lot of weakness in the language. So I decided to do an action research on it, introducing multiple intelligence strategies teaching literature. So the intelligences that are focused basically on this action research was verbal linguistic, logical mathematical, visual spatial, bodily kinesthetic, interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligences. The students were selected from the pre-test, those who scored very low marks, and I took a sample of 10 students, divided them into 2 groups. So my focus of my research here was to enable the students to understand the literary text, understand literature better, able to relate the values and morals to real life situation, and improve on their academic writing skills to answer the SPM questions. So in my first cycle of action research, I introduced the students to MI strategies, explained to them what are the strategies in MI that we'll be using. The second aspect I did was I introduced the video explaining the literature. The students had a visual spatial aspect of looking at the characters and having a better understanding of the whole plot of the story. So we, after doing that, relating to the events of the story, I did the first cycle, I did the post-test 1. So in the post-test 1, I realized that they had a better understanding of the events, but they were not able to relate to the question. They gave the facts, but they did not know how to answer the question in relation to how to analyze the question in relation to the novel. So in my post-test 2, the students were introduced to verbal linguistic acronym of STORE, S-T-O-R-E. So STORE stands for statement, textual evidence, how do you give your opinion, and relate to the question. So here the students were taught how to look for a general statement, how do you give detailed textual evidence, and how do you share statements of sharing your opinion and relating to the question. So what I did was to have them a better understanding in academic writing. I started teaching them sentence patterns that they could use in writing the statement, textual evidence, especially giving the opinion, what kind of statements they make to share the opinion, and RE to relate to the question. So after doing all this, and the students' focus was group discussion of the 6 events in the novel. So the students related to questions with their discussion of the events and understanding of the novel. So in the post-test 2, the marks improved, but I realized their language was still a problem in terms of sentence patterns and all that. And they improved a bit, but still they were making a lot of grammatical error. So in the cycle 3, I refined them on their writing skills. I refined them on giving very detailed textual evidence so that they score better marks, and I also found that they were able to give their opinions in a better way. But after my overall of the whole analysis of their exam post-test 3, I realized that students, there's another research from this research that is looking at the grammar aspect of it. Alright, that there should be another study to be done on it. But I'm very happy with how my students perform in the sense that their marks improve from scoring single digits to having 12 or 13 or 11 upon 15. So I find that my objective of my research was to enhance the students' understanding of the literary text, and 2, to enhance the academic writing. So from 2 to 3 paragraphs, students are able to elaborate more than 8 or 9 paragraphs now. They're able to have a better understanding of the events of the story. And what I gathered from here, they were able to take the events and the plot of the story and relate it to their real life situation. Because the novel focused on 2 major themes of the novel. One was friendship and the second one was family relationship. So the students were able to give a critical analysis of the importance of friendship and the importance of having a good family. So I felt that literature is meaningful. It explains real life situation, how the students, when they leave the school, they're able to recognize and analyze characters that they'll be meeting, and also think about how important is family relationship in bringing to have a happy family, and what mistakes parents are making is focus on the literature. So this, definitely I find that literature opens a student's mind to be more analytical, to be more critical, and be able to relate it to real life situation. So what is my next steps after this research? I feel that I can share my knowledge with teachers who are also facing the same problem of teaching the novel or poem, by looking at MI strategies, by looking at the acronym of STORE, to teach the students how to write better and score better in the SPM examination. So I think the next step I'll be doing is first introducing this to my English fellow colleagues in this school, and also maybe sharing my knowledge with other teachers in other schools. And I found that using this strategy, what was the impact on the students? I found the students' confidence improve. They worked better as a group, and finally I think they got closer to me because of our different meetings regularly to do this research and working together. So another sub from it is smaller groups have a greater impact in improving students' learning and teaching in the classroom. And I think my research shows that all the evidences I have, the interviews, the questionnaires, the students' pre-test, post-test, the modules, the notes, and the questions from all the different states and the different angles that they can be tested is being used. And just that the trial exam is just over and I've marked the papers, definitely from the mid-year to the trial exam, the students' writing skills on answering the literature question has definitely improved a lot. Section research,
Okay.
all right, the framework, conceptual framework of my research. All right, so this is my conceptual framework of all the different strategies that I'm using in the classroom. And then my post-test cycle 1, post-test 1, post-test 2 and the post-test 3. So my post-test 3, my suggestion is grammar needs to be another area to be focused in improving the academic skills of the student. Chapter 1, focusing on the statement of the problem and questions. Chapter 2, the literature part, literature review. Chapter 3 is my data collection. Chapter 4 is my data analysis. And chapter 5 is my discussions and suggestions. The problem again. The research objective and questionnaire. My chapter 2 focuses on the literature review and theories related to my study. Chapter 3 is my data collection, methodology, the research cycle. Chapter 4 is my data analysis of the literature. And chapter 5 is discussions and my suggestions for further review of this research. This is the most important aspect of the research, whereby the students were given a framework on how to answer SPM questions there. So this helped them in the academic writing. I used the acronym of STORE. That is the statement, the thesis statement, textual evidence, opinion, and they relate to the question and they have a conclusion. So the students were given a very clear framework of how to answer the question. Real names and their graphs on moving from total of 4 upon 15 and how they were able to achieve in post-test 2 and 3, 12, 11, 13. One of the students scored 13 marks. Alright, so we can see their development from pre-test. Pre-test is in blue in color, then brown in post-test 1, green in post-test 2, purple in post-test 3. Research that were related to my research. The students were interviewed, so I triangulated with raw scores, interview to get the coding of analyzing my research, and also triangulate the pre-test, the interviews, and their group discussions in the classroom. Pre-test 1, the post-test 1, post-test 2, post-test 3. This is the exit interviews, whereby I did all the interviews and coded for my analysis. This is the interesting part, the data, the raw scores of the students in pre-test and post-test 1, 2, 3. This is the graph showing their performances. And these are some of the students' group work. This is their group work, the presentation and analysis of the different events of the story. Then we also looked at all the states in Malaysia, the question, what are the likely types of questions that come out in literature. And then this is my lesson plan, teaching the lessons. And this is the rubrics for English literature, how their scores are given in the SPM, how did they score 9 to 10, how do they get language 5 marks. And then I have here the resources, the summary of the resources of the chapter on Captain Nobody, where every child was given a module on reading to have a better understanding of the novel, the plot, the evidence of the story. And these I came up with statements to enhance the academic writing. How to write a statement, how do you write textual evidences, how do you share your opinions, and how do you relate to the question. So they were given some structural sentence patterns that they could use during the exam time. me a lot in enhancing my pedagogical skills in the classroom. I was before that, before the trust school, I was not very good at doing collaborative group work in the classroom, and I definitely think introduced a lot of IT, and my teaching has become more student-centered rather than teacher-centered. And of course, I also use this opportunity to relate with the senior MLTs and the consultant of our school.